it's hot in here.
Right now, I am joined by Michael Mulenga, who is an entrepreneur. As you know, that Tuesday is dedicated to all the entrepreneurs out there, and we'll be talking about the tigule.com and so much more that you need to know about entrepreneurship, especially digital marketing. Good morning.
Morning, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. Welcome to the breakfast show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Now, before we talk about the tigule.com, tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Michael Mulenga. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm co-owner and founder of NeoNova Technologies. We're a digital company. We do digital marketing, social media management, web design, and the like. Yeah, so I founded this company with my partner in 2015, and our main goal was to try and help digitize a lot of businesses in Zambia. As young people ourselves, we were looking at some of the services that we see our other countries have, and wishing that how can we try and stimulate this for ourselves as a start, basically.
Okay, so how's it been so far?
It's been good. I mean, with all sorts of business, there'll always be challenges, but it's about ensuring that you've got your goals, your focus, and learning the ropes and the way different things work in whatever sector you're in, basically. Yeah.
Let's talk about social media and marketing. How has it improved over the years? Where we're coming from, we could only advertise businesses through maybe door to door and a client coming through to your office and the like, but now we have digital marketing. People are selling their goods and services over social media. But how has it evolved over the years?
Oh, it's been a rapid, very rapid growth. Yeah, like you just mentioned, we just recently came from having the more traditional means, but with social media now you can reach a large audience any time in any without the restraints of distance, and it's very easy to have a clearer message that you can get your exact audience to hear. Yeah.
Many other times when young people want to set up businesses, but because I've heard most of them say, I don't have followers on Facebook, I don't have a huge maybe fan base or people that can purchase or see what I have to offer. But how do you start up when you're just starting a business? How do you go about it?
Okay, the most important thing is setting a target, because you want to be able to stand out. Why would someone follow you in a room of 100 people? You have to have something that can help define who you are and what sets you apart from maybe any other businesses that you're going into their space, basically. So working very hard towards achieving a goal and focusing all your efforts around that is very important. Especially with social media, you want to have organic growth. It's very easy to look at someone that might have more followers than another person, but that person's followers really follow them. They really believe in their message or the goals, and those are the people who stay with you for a longer period of time and who support whatever your business endeavors are. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I believe that there's also risks that are involved when you're dealing with marketing like that, digital marketing. But then, what are some of the things that you would advise people that want to venture into that to consider before they do?
Okay, so definitely you want to be able to identify what risks you might go into. For example, if you're into, like you're saying, the online buying and selling, you want to look at that process and say, okay, what potential loopholes could they be present in whatever process I want to pursue, and how can we try and stop those before we have to encounter them? Maybe more focused on the PR side, management and so on. What type of issues could you run into, and try to mitigate those things by having a proper risk plan set in place before you even go out into your field. So all in all, I always say planning is much better than having to deal with something actually happening, negatively. Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, also, what I've noticed is that a lot of people like to do they like to do it all on their own. You find that you're the person that came up with the business. You can't be online the whole day because you have to attend to other clients as well. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so delegation for me is it's a skill as well, because I feel in order to be successful if in your digital business or whichever business, you have to be able to identify certain areas in which you might not be as skilled or have someone else that might be able to contribute differently. So in our cases, for example, rather than say, look, I want to start the business, I want to create the supply, I want to manufacture, I want to market, you might find maybe on the visual side, for maybe your marketing or creation, there might be a more talented outsource or so on.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important to identify your whole chain and your whole process and see, what parts of it could be made stronger by delegation. Yeah.
And what do you think are some of the common mistakes that people make?
Well, first of all, underestimating the task of managing social media on its own. I mean, it's not as easy as you may think. Your own personal profile, you post when you feel like. In terms of business, you have to post when your customer base wants to get content or needs to get content. So people tend to underestimate that, I think. That's the biggest mistake I can see. As I said earlier, planning. You need to really go out and really plan ahead and try and study and see what the market is actually like on the digital space.
Is it also important when you're thinking about digital to know what exactly people need? Because sometimes I think people venture into things that are not even necessary, and at the end of the day you find that you have a loss because you did not do your homework very well on what people need exactly.
Yeah, exactly that. You don't take enough time to try and study the market and to properly have a scope of what you could achieve. And then you might spend a lot of time and money and not get the results that you want. So it's very important to study the market, see, is it really feasible what we're trying to get into? Is there real demand? And most importantly, like I'll say for NeoNova, my partner and I did a lot when we started was to try and predict growth. You might start something that might not be as big at a certain point, but if you can see avenues for growth, those are very good business stems. Yeah.
Would you say that digital marketing is very is a lot affordable, as compared to other types of marketing?
Yes, definitely. Okay. Like for example, what you mentioned, Tigule.com, that's basically the same space of having, rather than having to have a huge budget to go and have billboards or print a lot of flyers or so on. You have a cheaper means to try and reach the people that you would want to reach and grow from. And that's why I think digital marketing is very important and shouldn't be underestimated, especially for SMEs and upcoming businesses. Yeah.
Okay. Now tell us more about Tigule.com.
Okay, so Tigule.com is a platform for buying and selling. It's where buyers and sellers meet. I'm sure in your experience there's been times where maybe you're looking for something, a product or a service, and you had to ask someone, do you know X supplier, or do you know a plumber? Or maybe you go into a Facebook group and you post, I'm looking for X. Well, what we've done is we said, look, we need to create something for Zambia, by Zambians, where you can download the app and find any product or service in one central location. So it's basically made to simplify the process and to have more of interaction between businesses and the buyers as well, from small to large scale, of course.
Okay, but how's that been going so far? How's the response?
The response has been very good. We've just launched the last 2 weeks, basically. And the beauty of the system is that you don't have the risk of, online fraud by spending money. All this platform does is it connects you to the supplier or to the seller. So I think people are already used to that method of transaction, and we've just made it much simpler by having it all digitized in your pocket. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Now, I like that idea because many other times, I just don't know how this mentality that we have of if your friend is selling something, you don't want to, you don't want to share, you don't want to refer them to the next person. But also, what do you think about Zambian young people and entrepreneurship?
Well, as a young person myself, basically, I think there's a huge talent pool in Zambia. And I feel we have a lot of potential, a lot of passionate, driven people that we need to get more of a light on, basically. We have a lot of startups and upcoming businesses that don't manage to succeed in Zambia because they don't have the backing that they should have. But that should not make us, make you not go into business or not pursue a dream. I think there's a lot of talent and I can see it being a big industry from the younger people as well.
Yeah. We are still at that phase where we do import a lot of people, a lot of things, a lot of goods and services still, even if we have a lot of businesses around and a lot of people selling. But what do you think it's going to take for us to reach that level where we export, more goods and services?
100%, I believe it's about supporting. In this case, for example, you mentioned what we're doing. We can only work so hard or push so hard unless we're supported by our own people. So I believe in Zambia, we need to start supporting more Zambian businesses, more local providers, because when you do that, then we now have the capacity to grow and start exporting our services elsewhere. So I really believe it's about stimulating and supporting local businesses, which is the number one key to unlocking that that exportation side.
Okay. And when we talk about businesses, especially for startups, do you think that financial management is to some extent also a huge challenge?
Yes. We unfortunately don't have all the necessary systems in place to help someone go from concept to production as a SME. But I feel that, with time, these things will start falling into place, more financial backing, more ways of having more favorable loans and so on. So I believe that side could be a bit lacking, but I feel that in time, as we keep, like I say, supporting the local businesses, we will start to stimulate even that sector, investment sector, basically.
Yeah, but are we investing from what you have seen so far?
I wouldn't want to give a definite answer because I can't speak for everyone and everything. But from my space, I believe it could be better. It could definitely be better. Yeah.
And then also, are there enough opportunities for young people, startup businesses, people that have ideas and looking for opportunities for somebody to invest in their business?
There are some channels which I know open, though I would say yes, there should be more channels. But I feel a common mistake people make also is to believe that investment should always be available. I think it's also about, from the person with the concept to be able to also be passionate about what you want to do. I feel an investor will only invest as much as they can see you can provide a return. So I believe more young people need to be more focused on the goals and not, have a goal for a short time, but look at the long term, And I hope, for example, my company can be a bit of an inspiration to that side, as my business partner and I did from a young age. Yeah.
Somebody out there might be wondering, probably they want to come up with a website, and that maybe the information is limited, or they do not know much about website creation. But take us through the process
of designing a website. Okay, so first and foremost, it's about understanding what you're trying to create, understanding on a functional side what functions should the end user be able to achieve, and then you go to another design aspect. How should it look? How would you want to present the site? And once you have those in place, then now you go through the technical sides of having it hosted, having it coded, having it designed, and put all into to place, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Well, any advice to the startups that are watching?
Well, my advice would be stay focused, work hard on having a goal, Planning is very important. Even though you have your ups and downs, things might not be as good as you'd want them at a certain point. Good planning, a lot of hard work, and I definitely believe that a lot of more businesses will come from our SMEs and our younger entrepreneurs here in Zambia.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael, for coming through to our breakfast show today.
Thank you so much for having me.